Hey everyone, Cab with Antique Book Collective, and today I'm getting to you guys with the weekly Work With Me where I scout out all the places for the week. So this week you guys voted for Dallas, Texas, and before I dove into all of this, I just wanted to apologize that I'm a day late. Not $1 short, luckily, but I am a day late. Sorry guys, what I was doing yesterday ended up running a lot longer than expected, but it was for the best. So with that said and done though, I'm just going to hop into the screen share and not waste you guys' time. Alright, so here we are in the screen share. Just as you guys can see here, we have the little poll that we did. We only had five votes this week, which was actually less than usual, but I didn't expect a whole lot because a lot of us are focused on other things. Not only do we have Thanksgiving coming up, which is pretty stinking fun, but we also, of course, have the really cool book that I have that I'm hoping to sell, the book from the Branch Davidian, which obviously had a lot more interest from you guys, 17 votes on what you guys thought it'd sell for, and a bunch of other stuff like that, of me just keeping you guys up to date. So far, no new bids on that book, but we still have a couple days left, so we'll see what it ends up selling for. No new cool offers, but again, I don't really know what to expect with it. So with that little update out of the way, I just wanted to dive on into the thing. So as you guys can see though, not anymore, but as you guys can see, we voted for Dallas, Texas this week, so we're going to hopefully look for the best sale area near Dallas, Texas. So booksalefinder.com, which is where we are now. We have Angeltown, Mineola, it's a cool name, I hope I pronounced it right, and San Antonio. Looks like Dallas, Texas is going to be next week, and just because I do this every single week, we're just going to pull up the little calendar so we can get for sure what the weekend numbers are. I already know what it is, it's 1920, but just so you guys can see, so you can trust me that I'm doing this the day of. Hopefully it opens up soon. Sorry, it's a little bit slow. You guys, as I say in all the videos, it's a little bit slower when you're trying to record a video while you're doing the work, and when you live in the Wild West like me, your internet connection is not always the fastest. But with that said though, guys, I'm hoping to make this video a little bit longer because I did try to rush the last couple videos. So I wanted to sort of mosey on a little bit slower with this one because at the end of the day, like, we can't rush through everything, and I thought it'd be nice to just share a little bit more information with you guys on all the other things because I know I've focused just on books in the last few ones, so I wanted to, because a lot of us sell more than just books, I wanted to maybe address a few other things like I have in the other videos that you guys have enjoyed. So here we are clicking yet again. It looks like I will not be able to look up the calendar for this week. That's really weird, but with that said, let's just look up where all these places are. So I'm just going to look up the map really quick. We have the map. I already pulled it up because I wanted to make things a little faster, but it doesn't look like I could see Angeltown or San Antonio or any of the other ones around Dallas, Texas. So just zooming out, so San Antonio's down there. Gonna open up another tab actually for this one, and we're gonna look up, man, the slowness of it sometimes, guys, sorry. We're gonna look up Angelton, I guess. Have I been saying that wrong? Yeah, Angelton, sorry. Here we are. Let it load on up. Again, sorry guys, it's taking a little bit longer. Looking at the zip code, it looks like it's not too terribly far from Dallas. Okay, that is pretty far. So that's pretty far for that one. On to the other one, Mineola or Mineola. Okay, that one's a lot closer to Dallas. That's nice. So just a glorified, very far away suburb. So nice small town. Looking at this, I would immediately think that we're probably going to have a nice little public library. So I'm actually going to look at that one pretty closely. So it looks like we won't be doing San Antonio or Angleton or Angeltown. I don't know, whatever. But let's see. So just Mineola, we have, it's a monthly sale. Remember what I say about the monthly sales? I really enjoy those personally. Third Saturday, which is also, that's what I find is with my favorite ones. It's always like the third Saturday or the second Saturday. Most of them are the third though. I don't know why. 1,000 books, 100% donated. That's a great sign. Sorted, not picked over, no buyer restrictions. Paperbacks 25 cents. Wow, guys, I'm happy with this one. That's really cool actually. And hardcovers are $1 and okay, so yeah, that's okay. So paperbacks are 25 cents. Sorry, 5 of them are $1, and then hardcovers are 75 cents. 2 for $1. So yeah, that's a pretty stinking good sale, guys, and $5 a bag. So this, I would honestly say, is like the best possible pricing you can have for a book sale. The prices are incredibly low, so you're basically guaranteed to make a good amount of money if you show up. And in addition to that, like the prices aren't so low that the library isn't raising any money, but it's definitely low enough that you can go in and clear them out and make some great money yourself, and honestly raise some money for a good cause, because the Friends of the Library groups are really nice, and they really help the libraries out. And at the end of the day, if it's not for the libraries, there's not going to be new readers. If there's not new readers, there's not new people buying books. If there's not new people buying books, there's no one giving us business in the first place. So it's a nice little self-fulfilling, benefiting loop for us to like support libraries, because at the end of the day, that does support us eventually, and it also just helps society at large, helping people read, because reading is important. That's why Abraham Lincoln made it so everyone needs a library in their town, basically. But last part, though, we see weather permitting. So since Mineola is inland, just from what I can see, I would assume that the weather is probably going to permit. I could always look up the weather and see what that's going to do, but like looking at where it is, I would assume it probably is not going to have too crazy a weather. It definitely could. I don't know. I'm not from Texas, not pulling up a weather report, but that is definitely something that could be a problem, is if the weather does go crazy, because I'm assuming this must be an outdoor sale because of that. But with all that said, we're exiting out of that. Actually, not exiting out of that one. Moving on to the estatesales.net. Again, I use estatesales.net and .org all the time just because it's nice to use. And because we're looking at Mineola, potentially, I think it might be worth checking out that area on the estatesales.net map. Oh, I just clicked something. Made it angry. Alright, so just making sure that we have everything where it should be. So it looks like there's that. See Waco, Texas right there. Remember with the cult book that we talked about? Got Waco, so maybe it's a sign, guys. Maybe we're going to sell $1,005,000 for that one book. But just looking at this, let me just confirm that this is around Mineola. Alright, I'm just going to type it in, honestly. Mineola, Texas. It's nice with estatesales.net because you can type in the city and it will give you the right thing, usually. And it'll get you right where you want to be. Let me just confirm that we are where we want to be first. Okay, yeah, it does look like it's centered correctly, so that's nice. And it usually gives you the zip code as well, so that's nice. So I'm actually going to change this one over to Mineola from Dallas, Texas, because it should still include the area from Dallas, Texas, but because we are looking at potentially going to Mineola, that would be where we would like to focus on specifically. So we got a 50-mile circle on this one, so I'm just going to drop this one to 50 miles as well, or 45, because that's close enough, and I'm not going to fight it, but looks like we are here right now. And I'm just going to look this up again really quick. So the Mineola that it keeps giving me is, I'm looking at this map, Austin's right there, so is there Mineola around here? That's Funkadoodle, guys. Let me just look up the zip code for Mineola, actually, before I continue any more, because I don't want to mess up this. So, Texas zip code. Alright. Now we definitely have the right zip code. Definitely trying that again, because I don't think that's what we had. So, full reset. Back to this. Alright, so now we have the right one. And it looks like we have 4 estate sales for estatesales.org. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, a lot more for estatesales.net. So that's pretty cool. So I'm just going to open all these on up, and we will dive right on into this. And because this is all within 50 miles of Mineola, I am definitely just going to run with that, and we're going to close out of the maps tabs in a few shakes. So that looks like that's all the ones that are close to Mineola and are happening soon. So let's just hop on into it, guys. So have a 2-day sale here with some photos. Looks like we got a lot of everything. Wow. Just gonna go through really quick just so we can look at everything. Ooh, Stetson hats. There's a good market for those, guys. Personally, I haven't sold any, but I've definitely heard about a lot of people shopping around for them, and I guess there's a really good price profit for them for you guys if you guys wanted to get those, and if you could get a good price on them. Lawnmowers, honestly, if you guys were into selling that in person, could definitely do a lot better for that potentially. But just looking at this, I do see some books, I see some kids' toys. A lot of these look like potentially more vintage ones, like this Bambi one. But there's also some newer stuff. We have Frozen, so if you sell kids' stuffs, I know a lot of people that have eBay businesses where they sell that sort of stuff. Those could be good. I don't know a lot about that market, but I would assume the Frozen things would get you a good profit because Frozen's like one of the most popular ones of the past quite a few years. Tractor, sort of here, big rider lawnmower, actually. Rider lawnmower, not tractor. Sorry, I messed up. Got some tools. Remember, I've said in other videos, guys, that I personally have looked at some of these tools and started thinking, what if I started a business for eBay for selling those? I haven't done the leap yet. I haven't really done a lot of research for it, but from the tiny bit I have done, I do think there could definitely be a lot of money to be had in those, because a lot of the times you can buy these tools for like 5 cents a pop for like a wrench, and you could sell a wrench for a bit more than that, so could definitely be worth it. But besides that, I'm not seeing a whole lot of things that I would instantly think, hey, I could really sell that. I am going to open up this, though, just to see if I can try to figure out what these little boxes are. Honestly, I have no idea, but because it's next to all the dolls, I would assume it's some sort of ceramic decoration thing. I don't know if there's a huge market for that, but I could definitely see a good market for that because I know quite a few people that do like that sort of stuff. I just don't know what the profit margin would be, but that definitely is something that could be worth checking out. So that's Yantis, Texas, which is, let's just see, Sulphur Point. Okay, that's just north of Mineola. So if you guys want to do that. So looking on to the next one, Windsor estate sale. A lot of statues, a lot of ceramic things. Judging by all these things, I would assume these people have at least a couple of books, which I know that's my focus, so that's what I like to look for. These dishes, I know quite a few people that make some really good money with dishes. I don't know the prices off the top of my head, but I've seen similar ones that people have talked about, and they sell those things for like $40 a piece. So that could be what those are worth. I don't know for sure. All right, here's those books that I was expecting. So that's pretty dandy. Some more weird statues. Some more of those really pretty ceramic dishes. So fun thing about ceramic dishes. So where I live, we have a creek out back, and the creek out back, so I live in Oregon, and in a town called Gresham, and Gresham, it's been a town for a good amount of time, so we had some early settlers come out here. Gresham is part of the Willamette Valley. Willamette Valley is what the Oregon Trail led to, so we have a lot of cool stuff that you found that was left over from the Oregon Trail. So I actually found in our creek out back some old broken ceramic dishes that were the cool decorated ones, and I might show you guys in another video if I talk about ceramic dishes again, because it's cool. I mean, mine are all broken, but I still think it's cool because you still see the cool little enamel artwork on it. I just think ceramic dishes are pretty dandy. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of them because they chip, but besides that, I think they are pretty stinking pretty though. So there is that. So if you guys do have a ceramic dish business, this could definitely be a good place to go and source. And for me, what I find for ceramic dishes is normally the places that you have, I'm going to go all the way back up. If you have the estate sale and you can see lots of different statues, what I find is a lot of the people that have all these artistic statues will generally have at least some ceramic dishes. They'll have like a china cabinet or something along those lines, just because these people, they sort of like, I'm going to say the finer things in life, the more artistic things, and artistic dishes is just one of those things that some people like. I mean, they're beautiful by all regards. Personally, for me, I'm more of a utilitarian sort of person, so I personally wouldn't use them, but I do think they're pretty dandy. With that said, a spice cabinet, so nothing too cool. I got some, I'm going to say bracelets, but they look like they belong on a watch, but they definitely aren't watch bracelets. What are those called? But I don't think that's what they are, but those are definitely cool. Fun little thing here. So we have the corn on the cob thing for your oven. You put your corn on the cob inside these little bake trays. I saw a funny thing a while ago where someone did brownies in those, and they came out looking like logs of poo, and they were saying, yeah, no one ate my brownies at potluck. Don't know why. It was terrible. So if you guys do buy one of those corn on the cob things, don't make brownies in them. Got a lot of jewelry. I know quite a few people that make some really good money selling jewelry. Personally, that's not a thing for me. If I was buying jewelry, I'd just be buying like sterling silver and gold stuff, not plated stuff, but I'd be buying those just for stacking purposes, because I personally see gold and silver going up in the near future. And got some DVDs. So the used book guy, I'm sure you'd be happy with this since you sell some DVDs. But I don't see a lot of really cool stuff that would be great for reselling. Of course, electronics, and of course, Elvis. Of course, I said I couldn't see anything worth reselling, and then I see Elvis. Elvis stuff, guys, there's some really good money to be had in that. Personally, for me, the best money I've made with Elvis stuff is selling a lot of things or a set of things. So personally, I would sell this entire display of Elvis stuff because there's always like that one or two really rare thing in that display, and then the rest of the stuff sometimes is more common and no one's as interested in them, or there's not enough money in those individual things. So sometimes it's worth selling these entire things as a lot, and then because you have those one or two items, people are bidding on it, people really want it for those two items, but then you end up getting rid of all the other things too that you weren't as interested in and that you couldn't sell per se, but because you're doing it as a lot, it could let you get rid of the bum items that you wouldn't be able to move otherwise potentially. So that would be really cool. For me, I've sold just a few Elvis things, but it definitely could be worth doing. But looking at the DVDs here, it looks like, oh, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me, guys. Woo! All right, and I'm back. Got some DVDs, though. A lot of them look like they're more newer movies. I mean, I know it's DVDs, so they obviously are newer as it is, but it does look like most of these are maybe 2012 and newer, a lot of them. Some of them do look older, but I'm thinking like roughly 2012 and newer for a lot of these. So some of these are obviously worth more than others. This one on top looks a bit like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but I don't think that needs to go on that many different DVDs. So there's that. But with all that said, because this is a book channel, I'm just going to scroll all the way back up. Actually, I'm going to admire some of this jewelry. Look at those. Those are pretty. A lot of carats on those. Back up. Here's some silverware. Sometimes it's silver, sometimes it's silver plated. So could be worth doing if you guys are into that. Personally, for me, I like coins and bars, but that's just me. All right, and here we are, the books. So it looks like they have a couple pictures. This is just a close-up of this shelf, so I'm just going to do this shelf just because I could see more books. So this set up here, I've sold quite a few books that look like this. It's more the fine binding. For me, the fine binding where it's red and gold, I tend to move those a lot easier than if it's something like brown and gold. I don't know why. That's just what I've personally found. Maybe it's because people like the look of it on a shelf. I mean, if you look at a red and gold book, as you guys can see on this photo, it just has an appeal to it. It looks really nice. I mean, you guys can see the shelf right behind me. The red ones, I mean, the red really does stick out when you have the gold on it. Blue, I like the blue ones a lot. I like the green ones a lot with the gold on them. But something about the red, it just really has an appeal. And I think that's personally why I see those move a lot more than the other colors. It's just there is the eye-popping factor. I mean, look at this O. Henry set that I have right here. I actually just sent out an offer for this one to a buyer. But the red and gold, it just looks good. So personally, whenever I see those, I try to pick them up because not only is it people buying them because they want the particular book, but also there's just the shelf appeal, and a lot of people buy books just to fill up their shelves, so that could be worth doing. The books next to it look like they're roughly around the same era. I would say these books are probably from the 1800s, on like late 1800s, maybe 1880s to 90s on the top shelf. Down here we have these two brown books. I would say these are probably the 1860s. In the middle, probably another one from the 1860s. These could, of course, be up to the 1880s, potentially older, potentially newer, but that's just what I would assume based on what I could see about these. But yeah, this whole shelf, it looks like it's more antique books. So if I was going to the sale, guys, I would totally look at this baby because this is just, for me, on my nerdy bookness, I'd be excited about that. In fact, I am excited looking at it. This set on the bottom, you guys know what I say about sets. There's money out of the wazoo if you can get sets of books. Oops. Accidentally clicked the nutcrackers. But yeah, Windsor estate sale. Let's just zoom out so we can figure out exactly where that is. Copeland. Oh wait, Gresham. That's where I live, except not in Texas. That's sort of funny. Looks like it's. Oh, there's Mineola, so it's south of Mineola. So we'll keep track of that one because that one's pretty stinking cool. On to this next one, Christmas in the Country barn sale. Guys, I love barn sales just because all the tools. As you guys probably know if you've been watching my channel, I'm working on all these different things, and I'm working on amassing a collection of things that I have to have for those things. So I've been checking out all the barn sales around me just for tools, but it looks to me like we're not getting any tools in this barn sale. So I feel lied to, guys. We've been deceived. It's only Christmas stuff. But vintage Christmas stuff, I do know of quite a few people who buy vintage Christmas stuff. Like, people like vintage decorations in general a lot of the times, but Christmas stuff, there's something about the vintage Christmas. Like, we have here some Coke things. Coke stuff on its own has a big value, but Christmas Coke, out of the wazoo sometimes. Excuse me again, what in the world? So that definitely would be worth checking out. But it looks like we got just a little bit of everything. Got some more ceramic dishes. So again, vintage Christmas stuff can do pretty well. Some people do like collecting that stuff specifically. I don't know why, but more ceramic stuff. I don't know why people like that, but some do. I mean, people all have their own things. So some people it's vintage Christmas, so that could definitely be worth going to. Flint, Texas. At least it's not Flint, Michigan, so you could drink the water in Texas. Davis estate sale. Let's see, more Christmas stuff. Some jewelry. Looks mostly like costume jewelry, just from what I saw, but cute little car. I actually thought this was someone wearing shoes for a second there. I was like, why? No books, nothing too exciting. If you guys have a jewelry eBay store, of course, you can obviously sell all that vintage costume jewelry, but I don't see anything exciting for the rest of us per se, except for that Christmas stuff. So moving on to the next one, we have a living estate sale. I've said this in an early on one, but I'm going to say it again, guys. For me, I personally like the living estate sales more. Like, I don't know, I don't feel like as much of a grave robber hitting a living estate sale, because it's like, okay, this person's still alive. I'm not buying stuff from a dead guy. For me, it feels a little less dirty, but at the end of the day, I don't feel too dirty doing it, because at the end of the day, these books are going to get thrown away if it's not for me coming in there. So, I mean, it's not as weird, but there definitely is some weirdness to it for me. That's just me, though. So some more books, though. They look like cookbooks. I actually really like that. So if this is the kitchen, that's really cool, having a built-in bookshelf for those. That's pretty dandy. That gives me some ideas for my own house when I do that. Some more stuff. Looks like some sterling. Some tools. Vintage tools, guys. Sometimes you can get some vintage tools, like vintage Snap-on can be worth a whole lot of money. Snap-on is a very well-known, well-respected brand of tools, and sometimes you'll have people that buy lots and lots of Snap-on stuff. Sorry, my phone just buzzed. Oh, I sold something. Yeah, eBay. Always bugging me. Some more ceramic stuff, but nothing too exciting. If you guys run your own little church, you can have all the folding chairs you'd ever want. But I don't see anything too thrilling for me, and that I would think a lot of people would have a lot of fun reselling. Of course, if you had a storefront location, you could definitely buy stuff like chairs and whatnot and sell those in person, but selling chairs online probably is not the easiest to do. So with that said, on to the next one. Delft. I'm just going to leave it at Delft. Which I'm sure I'm pronouncing wrong. I'm not going to try to read the rest, though, because I totally am going to mess those up. We have some very, very pretty ceramic dishes. Those are really cool. I love the vintage scales, guys. Like, a lot of people actually prefer vintage scales because the accuracy of them. Some people swear by them, other people don't. When I was doing chemistry classes, they said that the digital ones are the most accurate. Next one up is the more vintage sort of stuff like that, where it's mechanical, but when you have a vintage scale, they're not always the most accurate because they need recalibrated. So with that said, though, we have some cookbooks here. This is a set. I would buy that set all day long to sell. I've sold a couple of this set. I don't recall exactly what it is, but I know I've seen it before, and I've sold it. I think I sold a set a hair bigger than this for like $60 or something like that. So definitely be worth picking up. It could have been $40, but still good money regardless. Some more ceramics. Man, I know I talked about ceramics in the first little bit of this video, but it looks like I'm going to talk about it in every bit of this video. That's funny. With that said, though, onto this chest. Guys, there's some really good money in old chests, so I'm actually going to open up that in another tab so we can get back to it. Go a little bit more. Some more cool stuff. More old chests. This one looks like it's really dandy. That's cool. I'd put my treasure in there, bury it. Actually, I wouldn't bury that one. That's too pretty to bury. Old tractor. Some people love old tractors, especially the old Ford one. 1952, so I would have thought that'd be a Fordson since they changed the name, but maybe it's just a Ford. But some people like the old tractors. They're not always worth very much because a lot of times they need work and people want a running tractor, but sometimes people do like them for lawn art, so it could definitely be sold for a couple $100 if it doesn't run, though. So that could be worth checking out. Like, I don't know, though. Looks like this probably went with it at some point, but that's not really the focus here. So here we are with this chest, though, that I said I opened up in the other tab. So these chests sometimes can be worth a good amount of money. Not a huge amount, especially if we're talking like dollars to pounds ratio. These things can be rather heavy, so you might end up spending a little bit more and not make as much for how much it weighs when you're comparing it to something like a book where it weighs a pound and you sell it for $100, you know. So this, it will weigh a little bit more, but it's pretty stinking cool. I like the old chests. I love the ones that are like the ones they put on the Wells Fargo, I want to say Chariot, but it's not Chariot, wagons. What are those? Carriage, that's the word. The Wells Fargo carriages, they had these really fancy chests that had all these dummy locks, so those sometimes can be worth a whole lot more just because they're so rare and so interesting. This one looks like it doesn't have any dummy locks, but if you guys ever find one that has the dummy locks, those can definitely be worth more, and they're also just really cool in general. But with that said, it doesn't look like there's anything too thrilling at this estate sale for me, so I'm moving on to the next one. So Grayson East Texas, sports memorabilia. So NASCAR stuff, I know there's a demand for it, but I don't know what the demand is because I'm not into that. Some more ceramic dishes. Guys, are there going to be ceramics at every single estate sale? That's funny. Going a little bit further though, don't see anything too thrilling. Some Coca-Cola stuff. I know quite a few people that love collecting that, so it could be worth definitely doing. Some silver. Is it real silver? Cool though. It's a limited run of something, but since it's just an NFL thing with a limited run of 5,000, I don't see that having a huge premium, but it definitely could. You could eBay that if you were wanting to figure out the price. Going a little bit further, we've got some Christmas stuff, got potentially a book. I've seen a lot of these interesting plates where it's like this embossed plate thing. I saw one, I don't remember what estate sale I went to, but I saw one of these and it was worth something like $20. I saw some as high as like $80. So those definitely can be worth something, but I don't see anything that's too thrilling to me. So moving on to the next one, Large Tool and Warehouse Liquidation Part 2. Online auction though, you guys know what I say about auctions, not a fan, but definitely I'm going to look at it for y'alls. So since it said vintage tools and whatnot, I'm definitely thinking we're not going to see books, but just going to go through it just for those of you that like the tools. So are we looking at ammo? Yeah, we're looking at ammo here. I was thinking that was funny. Ooh, lots of mags. For me, Oregon, they just banned like all the different magazines under the sun, so definitely be interested in that. But I don't see anything too thrilling besides that. A lot of gun bags. There's some good money in gun bags. A lot of vests for hunting. Bowling balls. Oh, I always wanted to buy 3 bowling balls. Said, not me. A lot of glasses. What in the world? You never know when you need to buy 100 glasses for yourself. Going though. I don't see anything. I know I'm going really fast, but that's just because we don't have a lot of time for stuff that we know isn't going to be thrilling for us. Some Coca-Cola stuff. A lot of shops, guys, they will have old signage from a lot of cool things like 76, Chevron, Chevy, Ford, all these things. Coca-Cola. Some will even have old Coke drink dispensers, you know, the vending machines. So it could be definitely worth, if you guys run a business like this and if you look for just vintage collectibles in general, a lot of shops will have those things because the people that worked the shop, they had their own interests, their own hobbies that they like collecting for, and they put them in the shop so they could look at it every day as they worked and get some joy out of that. So there are a lot of shops, guys, where you will find some really cool, highly collectible things that weren't part of the actual shop with them working the tools, but like they had as their wall art. And of course you have some weird things that get collected as well for that, but sometimes there are some really cool collectible things that you guys will get. So with that said, on to the next one. Looks like we got some gold and silver, so that's always nice. Got some old books here. I'm just gonna open this up. Character sketches. Hey, I think I have one of those over here. That's actually really funny. So I don't know the exact cost on this book. I only have one of them for me, so I don't know what a whole set of it would be worth especially, but definitely is interesting. And as you guys can see here, these are all bidding, so they're all auctions, but again, I'm looking at it for y'alls. So I actually have a few of these books as well from the same estate sale, so that's actually really funny. But got a lot of books. Guys, personally for me, I do not like buying the old children's books like this. I don't make as much money on them. Of course, I do have some that make some more money than others, but by and large, I find most of the children's books that I sell are worth under $10, and for me, under $10 is just not worth selling whatsoever. Like, yeah, it's sad to see these books go, but I need to run a business at the end of the day, and I can't sell everything under the sun because everything eats up my time. Like, the fastest I've ever listed a book, I think, was like 3 minutes, which is pretty stinking quick, but at the end of the day, you only have so many 3-minute sections in the day, and I don't want to waste that time selling something that's only going to give me $3 profit when I could be selling a book that's going to make me, for 3 minutes, that could make me $60 for that little bit of time put in. So for me, I personally don't like selling the children's books, but I do like looking them up when I'm sourcing, because sometimes you do find some that are worth a whole lot more than others. Going on though, it looks like we're mostly just looking at furniture. There's some good money in furniture, sure, and we got a jewelry box here, but nothing too thrilling. For me, none of these things look like huge collectible items. Of course, you do have the sterling silver and whatnot, but that's not really collectible. That's more you would melt it down, because most people don't use sterling silver stuff anymore, just because it's sort of out of vogue, which is unfortunate because there's lots of cool benefits to using silver to eat off of and whatnot, but that's not for everyone. Actually, I'm not opening that one up. We already went to this one. Do not remember Tracker Boat though. We've seen this one, and I don't think we've seen that one, so looks like we're just looking at 2 on estatesales.org. The reason why I skipped the other 2, if you guys didn't fully catch that, was because we've already looked at those sales on the other one. So this one is just one photo, so obviously they don't have photos up yet, but let's see if they told us anything about the sale. And, okay, it looks like details coming, and because there's details coming, that's not worth me looking at just yet. So, excuse me, looks like we got some chairs, a cool spinning wheel. Be sure not to poke your finger on the end of it, or else you might fall asleep, if you know what I mean. Ha ha ha, Sleeping Beauty reference. Sorry guys. Got a truck, got a potentially an SUV, little wagon, nothing too thrilling. Okay, so we have some plush toys. Plush toys can be worth a good amount of money, especially if you can get them for a good price. I don't sell them personally, but I do know of some people that do. Looks like none of these things are worth too much. You have some DVDs, so, or maybe those are CDs. Actually, I think those are CDs. But nothing I'm too interested in. Got a little set here, so I'd look at the set if I was going here. This looks a bit like a set that I read growing up, actually, so potentially I know what that is, but I don't know for sure. With that said, though, moving on. Some electronics. That's interesting. Going a little further. A lot of little dolls. Okay, so guys, these dolls right here, they're not actually dolls. These little things, though, they're actually carved wood, and my mom actually has a couple of these, and these are actually potentially very valuable. Some people pay really good money for these. So if you guys can ever see these whole willow tree things, they're worth a good amount. I think they're worth a lot more when they come with the box. A lot of people will keep them with the box because they use them as collectibles, but there's definitely some good money to be had in those. So if you guys do see those at an estate sale, it could be worth definitely getting, if you guys can get them for a good price. I don't know off the top of my head what they're worth, but I do know that they can be expensive, and oftentimes they're rather rare, and people just like collecting them because they're pretty neat. With that said, though, going on, a lot of tools. Ooh, some old gloves. I always think it's funny when people sell used gloves, because you can buy gloves for so cheap, and it's like, why would I pay $5 for a used pair when I can buy a new one for $3? For me, though, I like leather gloves the most. Some more tools. I actually am in need of another tool grinder. Too bad that's not near me. Going though, I don't see anything too exciting. Cool little motorcycle, but nothing exciting, unfortunately. So it looks like we just have 2 locations that I was really thrilled about this weekend for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And yes, I know I just said it, Dallas-Fort Worth area, because that's what I've always heard people call it when they're from Texas and from that area. The only reason why I just said Dallas in the voting area was just because I didn't have enough room. So with that said, though, guys, it looks like we just have these 2 locations. So Woodlands Drive, Tyler, Texas. And then we also have, of course, Mineola, Texas. So 2 locations this week. Of course, there are going to be a whole lot more in Dallas itself, but I would assume there's probably a lot of other resellers there. In fact, I know of several YouTube channels that are based in Dallas that do the whole reselling stuff, so I'm assuming those are probably going to get hit pretty hard. But the more outskirts areas, there's probably going to be a whole lot less of resellers. And as I've said in other videos, guys, when I can find less resellers, that means there's good money for me to have, because not only is there less competition for me to buy these things, so I can get all the really good ones, and no one else got the good ones before me, but generally people are charging a whole lot less for these things, so I'm able to get them all for like $5 as opposed to spending $500. Because remember what I say about all the different estate sales around me. Where I live, Gresham, and out even further from Portland, I'm paying like $1 a book or less. But when you live in Portland, you're paying like $5 or more for the same exact book. So there's a lot more money to be had if you can drive a little bit more. And if you guys have a little bit more fuel efficient of a vehicle, it definitely does end up saving a whole lot of money. If you have a gas guzzler that burns 8 gallons to the mile, maybe not so much. And yes, I did say 8 gallons to the mile. That's a fun joke that my family cracks sometimes when we see some of these gas guzzlers, like those really big trucks. It's like, bro, I know you soup that thing up. I know you get like 65 million horsepower, but I've never seen you use that much horsepower. And second off, wow, you're burning gas. You're wasting money, pal. But for me, I drive a pickup truck. I've said in other videos, I get like 13 miles to the gallon. So it's not the best mileage out there, but it definitely is not terrible mileage that makes it so I can't do these long drives and get a whole lot of books, because at the end of the day, the money that I save buying these books, who knows where, it definitely makes up for itself, because I only spend, say, $100 in gas to buy $3,000 worth of stuff. And then as opposed to going to Portland, I spend that much times 5 just buying the stupid items. And yeah, I don't spend as much gas, but man, I spent so much money, and that money represents my time. So honestly, at the end of the day, I lost because I went to Portland, as opposed to if I drove all the way to, let's say, Prineville, where I've done quite a few sales to buy stuff. So with that said and done though, guys, thanks for watching. I hope this little walk with me sort of thing helps you guys out. Of course, this is the Q&A, so all this time that I burned up doing all this talk, you guys were able to ask lots of questions. I hope I was able to answer a lot of them. I thank you guys for watching. God bless y'all, and I'd love to see you guys in the next video, so be sure to watch one of them. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.